sounds violent. I was right. Watch out! I felt that one from
Why's it gotta be so friggin' hot here? My sack's sweating.
Mimir, Odin's mask. How do you hear about it in the first place?
He said a voice spoke to him one night, entreated him to collect the mask and control his own fate. I still think it's all a bunch of bollocks. Odin got drunk, convinced himself a wooden mask would solve all his problems, and pranced about the realms until he found a sufficiently mysterious bauble to fit the bill. Mask probably doesn't do anything at all.
Yeah, probably.
Now, if I recall, we were discussing how manipulating the details of a prophecy can wreak havoc on the believers. Back in my homeland, I was privy to the operations of a certain coven of heath witches who were keen on destabilizing the government. They picked an influential Thane, an otherwise loyal man, and fed him a story of his own ascension to king. They dressed it up in enough details they knew would come to pass, so when they did, the Thane took it as confirmation. Next thing you know, he's helping matters along. He murders his king, sleeping under his own roof. Murders many he once called friends, too, thinking them fated to a pope.
Prepare for a fight.
Behind you! Incoming! Nasty hit! Go away, brother! Brother! Get up! Brother! Nasty hit! Go away, brother! Come on, Kratos, off your back!
Behind you! Incoming!
Nasty hit! You alright, brother? Brother! Get up, brother!
Am I right in getting the sense you've actually gotten to know Thor's daughter somewhat?
Yeah, dude's great. Wants to be a Valkyrie one day. And she deserves to be. Of course, I told her all about the Valkyries we faced, but I'm not sure how much she believes me. It didn't go great when I tried to tell her stories about her grandfather, though.
Anyone can have a blind spot when it comes to family. Some only learn the truth in the hardest way.
No sign of the librarian.
That? Or she's hiding again.
It matters not. The journal is ours. The work is done.
So, brothers, how did you manage to kill Garm anyway?
We killed him a few times, actually, but it didn't take. Then I figured maybe the way to stop a soulless beast was to give it a soul. So I gave it the one I had on me.
I beg your pardon?
Fenrir. Remember the light Father saw? The accidental magic I did when Fenrir died? That was part of Fenrir's soul going into my knife. Once I figured that out, I just put Fenrir into Garm.
Clever one, lad! A gigantic hell beast with the soul of a loyal pup. Bloody brilliant! If I may resume my tale, the Heath Witches were looking to tie up loose ends, and so revisited the Thane they'd manipulated into assassinating his king.
No more for now. Focus.
Hey, Mimir. Between me and Tyr, who'd ever guess I was the giant, huh?
Ha! Indeed, lad. If I may resume my tale, the Heath Witches were looking to tie up loose ends, and so revisited the Thane they'd manipulated into assassinating his king. With just a few details structured ever so misleadingly, They convinced the fool he was invulnerable to all threats.
Physical or magical?
Aye, aye. But 'twas not so for him. All turned into a rather magnificent bloodbath as they go. The Thane ends up without his head and a name so cursed none dare speak it. All thanks to a subtly deceptive prophecy.
Enough talk for now. Be ready.
I didn't get a chance to say before. I liked your story about the Thane and the Heath Witches. We really gotta write these stories down one day, Mimir.
Well, I try. Jaw tends to get sore, but thank you, lad.
Mimir, did you know Garm? How was he locked up to begin with?
Ah, Hell's feral sentinel. Believe it or not, Midgard was once bigger. Until Gar, then just a wee pup, peckish.
He ate Midgard?
Only a few mountain ranges. And the 5th season that comes after winter but before spring. And a word for the feeling when you get so hungry, you stop being hungry.
You're messing with me.
I would never. I'll do the stolid.
For the king! So slow! Such a waste.
This is a fine mess. I'll do the stolid.
For the king!
Oh, this is a fine mess.
So, Mimir, how did they capture Garm in the first place?
That was Tyr's doing. He lured the beast somewhere safe and kept it distracted by lending his own arm to be gently chewed. Once the chains were on and the gate to Helheim was opened, Garm bit Tyr's arm clean off in retribution.
But Tyr's not missing an arm.
Well, he'll be back, eventually. He is a very resourceful god, after all.
Now that I've spent time in Asgard, it's strange to imagine Magni and Modi there. Sif raised them both, right? She seems like a good mom. Maybe a little overprotective.
A good mother, not the Sif I knew. In a culture as debaucherous as the Aesir, being a paragon of womanhood meant being a fierce fighter and a fiercer drinker.
Another time. We must focus.
Behind you, brother!
I mean, you can yell at me if you want. For leaving.
What would that accomplish?
Might make you feel better.
No. You didn't trust me enough to talk through your worries. That's a wound not easily mended.
Sorry.
You needn't be. The fault is mine.
Mimir, you mentioned Sif wasn't a good mother when you knew her. Like, she used to drink a lot?
She and Thor seldom knew a moment's sobriety, whether brutally dealing with their enemies or, just as brutally, raising those boys.
What do you mean?
Oh, little brother. I know you didn't have an easy childhood. You can't fathom how much worse it can get.
Not now. The Hildcrave's battle that grave will provide.
Mimir, you were explaining how bad it got for Magni and Modi being raised by Thor and Sif while they were drinking. I want to understand.
Well, imagine learning discipline by having thrashed into you time and again. That was Thor's approach, the same one Odin used on him. Poisonous notion of manhood passed down through generations. A grim inheritance, leaving all of them the poorer.
Well, Sif doesn't drink anymore. Neither of them do.
I am quietly flabbergasted to hear it.
I get the sense it's more recent for him, but I know he loves his daughter.
I expect that's the explanation. Sith goes straight in hopes that raising a good daughter will redeem their past failures. Thor struggles. Maybe she gives him an ultimatum after some breaking point or other.
Like, what he did to Modi that night he found us.
Oh, that's a deft guess. And if that ultimatum worked, well, good for them. Truly.
These rooms.
Yo!
At your service. Now, was there something else?
Hey, Sindri.
So, how was Asgard?
I had a fight with Heimdall in a huge field of mud. It got everywhere.
No wonder you got out of there.
I brought some back if you want to see it.
Get away from me, you reprobate!
So, Father's new spear. It's made out of a ring?
Drop me your eye. Forged by the Huldra brothers as a gift for Odin.
How's it work?
Every so often, the Dropnir drips out identical copies of itself. The Huldras presumably figured that if one golden ring was a good gift, an infinite number of them would earn them a permanent place in Odin's heart.
But it didn't.
Not even a little.
Mimir, if I met someone I liked, how would I know if they, liked me too?
Is there someone?
No. I was just curious. Actually, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. there's another realm tear garment over there. Yo! Lasta, Lifa. Lasta, Lifa. Lasta, Lifa.
I felt that one, brother.
Lasta, Lifa. Lasta, Lifa. Maybe later.
Brother, no!
Look over there. Another of Garm's round tears. Lasta, Lifa. Lasta, Lasta, Lifa.
So, lad, is Thrude who you meant when you asked about liking?
Through? No. I mean, I wasn't asking about anyone specific. And, well, Gilder likes Through. But she's only interested in becoming a Valkyrie. She's focused, you know?
Oh, very well, lad. Very well. Just hope you know if you ever need to review anything we've discussed.
I know. It's good. I'm fine. Mimir, when I was in Asgard, I saw Odin do something to some new Einherjar. He seemed kind of mindless until he cast a spell that restored their identity.
Aye, that was his habit, even when they were confined to Valhalla. I think letting them remember themselves was another small way of cheating death any way he could. Though I wouldn't be surprised if with that small gift of autonomy, he also embeds an undying personal loyalty to himself.
Mimir, not sure how to ask this. There's stories Odin told me, like how he lost his eye, where the details are different from stories you've told me. And I trust you, of course, but they don't seem like things he'd have a reason to lie about either.
One thing to remember about liars, lad. They lie. They do it on principle. No issue too big or too small. They lie about anything they can get away with and some things that they can't, just to demonstrate their power over reality. You must always bear that in mind.
Oh, guess what? While Odin was giving me a tour, his ravens took us to Svartalfheim, and I saw Durlin again. He was actually trying to do his job. We pretended not to recognize each other. At least I think he was pretending. Point is, it looked like Odin didn't know anything about Durlin helping us find Tyr. Mir, what's the deal with Odin's ravens? They can just transport him anywhere?
Except for the realm between realms, thankfully.
Why?
Harder to find, thanks to dwarven and... enchantments, and Yggdrasil's very own nature.
Lucky us.
Let's see if this lot's got any good news.
You are staring.
You're a tough man not to stare at. If the dwarves had your strength, Odin would have never gotten as far with this place as he did.
My strength has little to do with my body.
Yeah, sure.
Derlin,
Are you to thank for the newfound fresh air sliding up our nostrils?
we turned off the mining rigs.
So you did. Let's pretend you did so in a manner consistent with the 97 parts safety regulations handbook written specifically for the operation, maintenance, and deactivation of said mining equipment.
Do what you will.
Well, thanks anyway. Means a lot.
Triss, saw Durl in the game too. After we forged the spear, Odin appeared. He had Durlin with him, threatening him, as if he knew I would know him.
But if Odin knew all along, then while we were pretending not to know each other, he was pretending not to see through us. Man, he really is a good liar.
Looks like Durlin's taken to locking his doors. Hard to blame him. I've little doubt the tavern is his primary office anyway.
Mimir, I know this sounds weird, but can you tell me again what happens when someone dies?
Every living thing has a soul, and every soul has 4 parts. Form, mind, direction, and luck. Direction steers the souls of giants, dwarves, elves, and animals toward the Lake of Souls in Alfheim, where all the parts may be absorbed back into Alfheim's great light.
What's your left? Careful, brother. You're covered in Bifrost. Right, you watch out! Bifrost, above you! On your right!
Mimir, a little while ago you mentioned Odin's ravens. What's to stop him from using them to pop into existence and kidnap anybody he wants?
Consent. The only way to travel by Odin's ravens is by your own choice.
Oh, it's not so bad then. Looks like Yari and Selmer were here too.
Mimir, tell me more of Yari.
After leaving his family, he wandered the realms in search of something unnameable. But in all his wondrous travels, nothing satisfied him. Until he met another wanderer in search of something similar. Unnameable. He was called Soma.
Let us find the final ingredient.
I think I see something.
It's another raven sent to the Tree of the Dead. Perhaps we should check up on it, hmm?
Father, what's the biggest thing you've ever fought?
I do not know.
You can't remember?
Why do you ask?
I don't know. So we can compare?
It is not a competition.
I mean, not yet.